And this is what I'm saying now. I was saying that if we want to raise the livelihood of the Africans, so we have to look to several parts of the economy first. We have to make a sustainable aquaculture sector, because most of the Africans are leaving their jobs and trying to migrate to other areas to get a good life. So the sustainable aquaculture is depending mainly on having stability in the sector, to keep the people working in the sector with secure livelihood. The social indicator is very important, which is really affecting the aquaculture sector all over Africa. Also the environmental, I'm going to leave the environmental for other people to talk about. And also the economic indicator, I'm going to leave it to Mr. Kamel to talk about. So Africa is having aquaculture, but very limited production rate, mainly based in Egypt, which is having the largest aquaculture activities in Africa. And now, facing climate change, we are going to have problems, not only from climate change, but also economic-wise. The aquaculture sector is contributing also in Egypt in economic development, actually, because, and also sharing in food security, and consequently in livelihood in Africa. Also, this sector is not having so much attention from the governments for now. Usually they depend mainly on fishing. But we have to direct the attention of all governments and all the funding agencies to invest in aquaculture. The economic stability, as I mentioned before, is very important for the resilience and the to absorb the negative effect of the climate change. We have now a very crucial diagram. It is very important to know. I'm not so pessimistic. By 2050, these are the statistics from the UN. By 2050, Africa will only fulfill 30% of the food demands. A loss of 16% of the gross of domestic products. So we have to manage how to adjust the livelihood assets, which is actually present here in the middle of the graph. The livelihood mainly depend on capital, financial, natural, and physical, and social capital. The livelihood is directly affected by vulnerability, and also it affects several sectors, because if the people are not secured in their jobs, so they are going to make a disturbance in the sector. So having good livelihood assets in each African country will get the aquaculture sector to more stability. Also, the policies, the institutions, the scientific institutions, and the governmental associations have to put several criteria to keep the aquaculture sector secured for people who are working in aquaculture. Not only that, but also for the sustainability of the food sources. So I really want to come up with some points to be highlighted in my presentation. I don't want to be so long. We only need to identify new finance methodologies to tackle the climate impact, Also, the societal mobilization is critical to develop an effective response to climate change. And the African governments and the environmental organizations have to explore new ways to attract and mobilize the funds for the sector of agriculture in general and to aquaculture especially, because this is the main target of our webinar. I wish to thank everybody. We're going to have a discussion panel by the end of the webinar. We are open to have any question from the participants. And I wish to thank you all and thank you so much.
Thank you, Nevine, for